Trent Sherfield, gone to the Miami Dolphins. Again, I don't think he's expensive. The Niners brought him in to boost their special teams, which has been bad, and now he's gone. Why do you think they didn't bring him back?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with money. One thing about like NFL players, they don't make they don't make as much money as you think.
True.
Like you could take their contract, and maybe Trent Sherfield last year, not to count his pockets, but let's say maybe he signed a 1 year, vet minimum for what he was, 800,000. Well, half of that is gone, because of taxes and stuff. Then you got agent fees. Then you have expenses, your home, living in the Bay Area. You're probably responsible for all of your family's expenses, your wife, your kid, all those things, maybe flying other people in. The money doesn't go as far as you think. So if somebody is willing to pay me even $1 million more, I got to take that. I got to take that. Unless you've had like big contracts. That's why you'll hear some people say, well, it's not about the money with me. Well, yeah, because you've already made $40 million. But for most of these guys that make up the NFL, they make minimum salaries pretty much every year. And even fans, I know they'll, $1 million. Like, it's $1 million isn't life-changing when you pay taxes on that and you have all these expenses. Now, if you're somebody that just wins the lottery and you have a low life, you don't have all kind of expenses, and you win the lottery $2 million, and then you want to do something with that, great. But these guys, they have a lot of people kind of depending on them to help. So that money doesn't go as far. So if I'm Mostert, if I'm Trent Sherfield, if I'm any of those guys that left Lincoln Tomlinson, I need to get all my money.
Yes. And what's interesting with Trent Sherfield, I think he felt he was going to get an opportunity to play wide receiver on the Niners, and it didn't materialize. And I think he's at that age where he's got to push for it. If he doesn't push for it now, he'll never be a wide receiver. He'll always be a special teams guy, won't make that much money, be out of the league. So maybe he feels he knows Mike McDaniel. Maybe Mike McDaniel said, I'll give you an opportunity to play wide receiver here, although Tua is not going to push the ball down the field to him. I don't know. Good luck to him. That's the only thing I can think is that he wants a bigger opportunity. He's not going to get it here.
Listening to a lot of Dolphins fans, their big issue with Tua is not so much Tua, it's the offensive line. I guess he had like the worst offensive line in the NFL. So they didn't really have time to push the ball down the field. I know when he was completely healthy at Alabama, he definitely was pushing the ball down the field. He was confident with doing that, and it kind of changed when they got to Miami. I don't know if it was the hip injury. How much better is he now as opposed to right after it? But there, potential for Trent Sherfield. Who's their receivers outside of Waddle?
I don't even know.
Parker, maybe. I don't even know if Devontae Parker's still there. I don't know. So there could be a scenario where he carves out a role for himself.
Last thing on Trent Sherfield. So he rejoins Mike McDaniel along with Raheem Mostert and Wes Welker and all these guys. It reminds me a lot of what Kyle did in 2017. Remember when Kyle came here, he brought in a bunch of people.
Robinson, Pierre Garçon.
And what's funny is like very few of them worked out. And Kyle stopped doing that pretty quickly. It's like, I'm not a coordinator anymore. I'm a head coach. I can develop I'm going to be here a long time. I'm not going to be here for 2 years. It's something you do when you're a little nervous. Like, I don't know.
Well, that initial offseason.
Yeah. The first one.
Before you get a chance to draft the George Kittle, draft the DJ Jones, even the Keller Witherspoon, he started for some years. Like before you get a chance to draft those guys, you got to go through that first wave of free agency. So you get guys in that can help implement the structure, what you're expecting, guys that understand it, know what they can teach to other guys, or the rookies that you eventually are going to have take their place. And then, in a few years, all right, Trent Taylor, Trent Sherfield, all you guys, y'all can walk.
Also, they can vouch for McDaniel in the locker room. So when these players that don't know McDaniel and hear him for the first time and see him, they're like, yo, what the hell is this? Like,
it's a little interesting.
It's a little weird. And most would be like, no. He's a genius. And I'm sure there may have been some reaction to that to Kyle Shanahan when he became the Niners head coach at 37. And he walks in. Some people are like, who? They're like, no. Like Pierre goes like, dude, you have no idea. This guy is the smartest coach I've ever worked for. So I think it probably helps.
I think it was easier for him though, because he was coming up. Atlanta had a special year, and it was like everybody knew Kyle Shanahan. Where as opposed to, McDaniel, nobody even knows what he does. Okay, good design's good run. Like he didn't call plays. Like you don't hear him talk. Well, and then when you finally did hear him talk, it comes off a little interesting.
It does. Not in a bad way. But some people might be like, this is like no coach I've ever had. And it probably would help for some people in the locker room to be like, no, you got to trust him. Trust me on this one. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to work, though. I don't know how long Sherfield and Mostert are going to be in Miami. Didn't work out for Kyle and Pierre Garçon and Alfred Morris and Alden Robinson. Moisha says, Grant, why are you so keen on Watson? He was top flight, but he's been through an ordeal. There's no guarantee he will be as good. Mindset is everything. I mean, probably the same reason the Saints are and the Falcons are, and every freaking team wants this guy.
The Browns.
Every freaking team wants. I mean, how many quarterbacks are better than him? All things considered.
I'd say, well, take out the outside incident and you're just going off of just talent and what he's done, what he's been. You'd say there were people debating him or Watson. I mean, him or Mahomes.
Right.
So, he's kind of in that realm. So you got Josh Allen, you got him, you got Mahomes. Like, they're all in that tier. Then maybe you could throw Justin Herbert based off of what he looks like and Joe Burrow, but they're all in that same, like, young stars, talent, like, lead your team, like that type of guy.
Yeah. If there's a top tier quarterbacks, Watson's in it. Mark says if they trade Jimmy, could they use that money to get Teron Armstead and put him at right tackle and trade McGlinchey? Who's trading for McGlinchey right now?
Yeah, I was going to ask that same question.
McGlinchey's the new D Ford on offense. So until
he's trying to put them in a bad scenario because you don't know. Again, he tore his quad off the bone or whatever he did, and how is he going to recover from that? I saw a stat that said 50% of the people are able to play again when something like that happens. So it's a serious injury. You don't know where he's at. I mean, they'll know more about it. Talk about the medicals, but how do you prepare for that? Because you don't bring somebody in and pay someone to play over him. I think you bring someone in as more insurance. I don't know if that's Teron Armstead. You got to pay him a little more.
Sean says when agents pull the Don Yee, does it fracture relationships with the organization moving forward, maybe influencing what free agents get a look? I could think so. I could feel like the Niners think Don Yee screwed him over, but Don Yee doesn't have very many clients. He's very picky and choosy. So I don't know if this is going to hurt Don Yee. I don't know.
It's a business too, and everybody understands the business aspect of it. All agents understand that. And the agents, I mean, they're in it for themselves too. Like, they got it. That's how they make their living. They want that percentage. And the more certain it is, or having Jimmy go to a more ideal position makes him money down the line. Jimmy got to restructure his contract. So that's important for Don Yee too, to have him in an advantageous situation.
All right, Gizmo Maltese says, what can the Niners do to improve their O-line? Let me take a stab at this one. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo, create $25 million in cap space, sign a guard, sign a tackle. How about that? I'm just
again, the tackle part is hard because McGlinchey. Yeah. But definitely if you can shore up that guard spot. But now you got two guards. So you for sure need one.
Uh-huh.
You for sure need to sign one guy where it's like, this is a legit starting NFL guard. And then we'll see what happens with Aaron Banks or Moore or whoever else battles out for the other guard spot.
Revenge asked Jimmy to the Browns. Do you think that's where he ends up?
I don't know, man. I mean, it changes every day. We got to wait to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. If Watson goes to the Falcons, then Matt Ryan is available. Then what happens with Baker Mayfield? And then it's like Jimmy's kind of going to be like the last domino to fall. So there's a lot of different things that need to happen. If Watson chooses New Orleans and the Browns, which it seems like he's going to move on. If they're going to move on from him and trade him maybe to the Colts, then obviously that opens up a door for Jimmy. And I think he fits in good with what the Browns have going on.
It's like a game of 3-card Monty right now. It's hard to keep up. I don't know. But yeah, if this guy and then okay, I can see that.